Yes, good afternoon. Sava here from Football Heritage TV. Well, the long anticipated wait for the 2023-2024 Tottenham Hotspur squad, the wait is over. We've seen it. And I hate to burst the bubble. There's not really any surprises. We were expecting maybe one, maybe two players might not be given a squad number. Had they fallen out with a manager? Were they surplus to requirements? I'm afraid not. I'm afraid there's no breaking news that's going to change your mind. It is breaking news, and we will look into it, but I don't think it's breaking news that's going to have shocked anybody. What I will say, and we will get into this in a minute, is I believe that from looking at our homegrown quota, Spurs have a lot of homegrown players to buy. Let's look into it after this. Yes, good afternoon. So the Spurs squad has been announced. As I said, there's nothing really that I believe will shock anyone unless you were adamant that you wanted to see Lloris and Dyer not included in the squad. The theories that Hugo Lloris was no longer wanted in any capacity. Well, he's got a squad number. And Eric Dyer, he'd fallen out apparently. He wasn't wanted. He's not been picked in any of the squads. He also has a squad number. So as we look into it, we'll break it down. What does that mean for Lloris? What does that mean for Dyer? What does that mean for their game time? Or are they simply making up the numbers? Let me know what you think. We're going to start by taking a look at the, sorry about the dog in the background. We are going to start by having a look at the announcement. So here it is. So this is the Tottenham Hotspur squad as on the official site. Hopefully you can see this. Now, for anyone that wasn't sure how it worked, the squad that needs to be announced needs to be 25 players, which is 17 players that work as non-homegrown, and then 8 players that are homegrown, and then you can have players that are under 21 in your squad. So what have Spurs done? As you can see, in no particular order, I don't believe this might actually be in terms of, yes, sorry, this is done in alphabetical order, definitely not in position order. You've got Rodrigo Bentancur, Yves Bissouma, Eric Dyer, Emerson Royale, Brian Hill, Højbjerg, Dejan Kulusevski, Hugo Lloris, Giovanni Lo Celso, Ivan Perisic, Pedro Porro, Richarlison, Christian Romero, Manor Solomon, Heung-min Son, Mickey van der Ven, and Vicario. Now, the two names, as we said, the two that would probably be the only two I believe most fans would be querying, if at all. Let's be brutally honest. Doesn't look like we've actually had a decision to make with the players that went out in the last few days. It doesn't look like we've actually had any decision to make at all in regards to picking a squad. Eric Dyer, third on that list. And Hugo Lloris at number 8 on that list are the only two where you could say, are they wanted? Are they surplus to requirements? Now, let's look at this. The first question I'm going to ask, and we'll come back to this a bit later, but I'm going to ask it now to let it fester. First question I will ask is, with Eric Dyer being assigned a squad number, when we have an injury to Romero or to Van der Ven, does that mean that Eric Dyer is now going to play ahead of Ashley Phillips? So a lot of the talk has been that Postecoglou likes Phillips, that he sees him as a successor, but lots of the talk was that he didn't rate Dyer and that he wasn't the type of player for him. So with Dyer now getting the squad number, does that mean that he's still below Phillips in a pecking order, or do we think he'll be above him in the pecking order? Food for thought. Also, when you look at Hugo Lloris is so far hasn't made the squad and has been below Fraser Forster, who's the backup keeper, and Vicario, who is the undisputed number 1. What does that mean moving forward? Are we expecting any change? Are we expecting to see Hugo Lloris be on the bench? After 11, 12 years at the club, do you see him coming on and being a bench player? I'm not sure I do. I still think he'll be third or fourth choice because you've got to look at it and say, you've got Vicario, you've got Forster, then you've got Austin, then you've got Whiteman. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. Let me know your thoughts. We'll come back to that a bit later, but we're going to now move to the homegrown 8. Now, for the homegrown 8, you have got, as you can see quite clearly in the list there, Brandon Austin, Ben Davies, Fraser Forster, Brennan Johnson, James Maddison, Ryan Sessegnon, Oliver Skipp, and Alfie Whiteman. Now, just to quickly continue the goalkeeper theme, that means you've now got Vicario and Lloris registered as goalkeepers that are foreign. And then you've got 3 homegrown goalkeepers, Austin, Whiteman, and Fraser Forster. 5 goalkeepers in our 25-man squad. Now, first of all, what this tells me is 2 things. 1, we have really bad squad depth, which I think most of us would have already known. Most of us would have already known we have got really bad squad depth. But what it also tells you is we have got really bad homegrown squad depth. Now, what I mean by that is this. You're allowed 8 homegrown players. Let's take the obvious ones out of there that are good. Now, straight away, James Maddison, Brennan Johnson have been bought this window for obvious reasons, not just because of their qualities, homegrown. We needed homegrown footballers, right? So I'm going to remove James Maddison and Brennan Johnson. I'm going to remove Ben Davies as well because he's a squad player that's been there for a very long time. And you could probably say Fraser Forster. Now, when you break down these homegrown players and you look to the future, it doesn't look good. And what I mean by that is moving forward, realistically, how long can you just keep Alfie Whiteman, Fraser Forster, and Brandon Austin? Whiteman and Austin won't ever get a game. Fraser Forster's getting older and you don't know whether he might leave at some point. You've got Ryan Sessegnon, who I can't see ever playing in this system under Postecoglou. And you've got Skipp, who, for me, isn't one of our first 4 or 5 choice central midfielders. So when you actually dig beneath the surface, there is a real lack of homegrown talent there, which I believe in the next year, let's do it in windows. In the next 2 to 3 transfer windows, I think we will have to chip away at that. I think we will have to add some more homegrown players because that looks very, very thin on the ground. So out of the 25-man squad, we have got 5 goalkeepers. Then what you can see just quickly, if we look down here at the under-21 list, there's a whole bunch of players there. The standouts will be here. Aleo Valise, who we just bought as under-21. Papa Sarr falling into the under-21 category is brilliant news for Spurs. You've got, where are we? You have got Ashley Phillips as well, number 21, that has fallen into the under-21 category, which is good news. Players that we've bought recently, like Judson Bell, William Lancashire, Destiny Adogi fits into that under-21 category as well. You've got Jamie Donnelly. People have got high hopes for him. You've got Santiago. Lots of people really like him as well. So there's a lot of players there, which I think we are actually quite lucky that we've got that many under-21s because there is not much homegrown and not much option there for the senior list. Now, this video wasn't meant to be controversial. I don't believe it has been in any way. This was just bringing some facts, just bringing the facts of the squad that's just been announced. It was just bringing some information to you. When you look at that squad, though, I really do think it shows you that we need some depth. If I look at the 17 foreign players, how many of them, the non-homegrown, Bentancur you're going to keep, Basuma you're going to keep, Dyer is going to go, Royale is going to be kept for the moment, Brian Hill we don't know, Højbjerg it looked like he was leaving, Lloris it looks like he's leaving at some point, Kulu's just signed, Lo Celso it looks like he's staying, Perisic has probably got 1 more year, Porro is staying, Richarlison, not sure. Romero and Solomon are staying. They've signed recently. Sonny's staying. Van der Ven's staying and Vicario's staying. So what I'm seeing throughout that whole squad is there's a lots of ifs, buts and maybes and a lot of work to do on that squad in the next year or two. A lot of work to do, which is why I keep my feet on the ground. I think we've got a brilliant 11, but I really do think that that squad shows that we've got a lot of work to do in terms of depth, in terms of homegrown as well. Let me know your thoughts. Is anyone surprised? I'll be surprised if anyone is surprised. I don't think there's any real standout news there. It is what it is. But you know what? Come on, let's beat Sheffield United. We'll see you tonight. I'll be on Henry's show at 6:30. And then we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for a Thursday morning chat with Sava, where we can look at the squad in a bit more detail. Much love. Thank you for liking. Had a few subscribers today, so thank you very much. Please join the Football Heritage TV family, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Come on, you Spurs.